GM. Welcome to Web3 Academy, a place for entrepreneurs, businesses, and creators to explore and learn how to use Web3 to transform business models and build thriving communities. I'm Jaybird, and I'm here with you today to keep you on the forefront of technology so you don't fall behind. More specifically, we're here today to talk about how to get a job in Web3. We're going to break down why so many people are getting jobs in Web3. We're going to talk about the step-by-step guide to get a job in Web3. We're going to talk about the benefits and perks of Web3 in terms of what the companies are offering and why they're attracting so much talent. And we're going to talk about how you can make sure that you equip yourself with the skills you need to get a job in Web3, which, believe it or not, are not that hard. They're not the skills that you might think you need 5 years blockchain experience, you need to be a developer, all these things. Forget that stuff. I'm going to give you the plan, whether or not you have experience on how you can enter the space and be working alongside all the pros that are entering Web3 currently.
The future of social media is here, and that future lives in Web3 on top of Lens protocol. Web2 social platforms are broken and ripe for disruption. You see, the epicenter of social media is the creators, and yet they are the most neglected. Web2 platforms like Facebook, TikTok, and Instagram are all essentially robbing creators of their worth. Creators are a new type of entrepreneur, forming new types of businesses. Yet with Web2 platforms, creators don't own their content or their profiles, and that's their product and business. Instead, they are tied to the platforms they choose to create on. Well, just like how crypto is freeing us from banks, Web3 is freeing us from these centralized platforms. On Lens Protocol, creators own their content, own their profile, and even their social graph and followers in the form of NFTs. This allows you to move freely from one social application to another with your content, profile, and followers moving along with you. Lens Protocol enables self-sovereignty for your social graph and interoperability across the internet. At Web3 Academy, we believe this is the future of social, and that's why we partner with Lens to ensure that the path of social media is heading in the right direction. Visit lens.xyz to learn more today.
The question on everybody's mind these days is, why is everyone moving to Web3? Web3 is eating the world, and along with it, all the brightest and most forward-thinking and innovative minds are moving towards Web3. Literally every week, there's a headline of a top Google exec, Facebook, Amazon leaving the profit-squeezing public corporations for the greener pastures of Web3. But why? Why is everybody doing this? Well, first, when you Google how to do this in Web3, how to do this with blockchain, there is no answer. And that's super exciting. How often do you Google something the whole world is talking about, yet there are no playbooks? Never? Once in your lifetime, maybe? That's what we're talking about here. We're talking about a once in a lifetime technology evolution or revolution, depending upon which way you want to look at it. But things like this that the whole world cares about, the whole world is talking about, they don't come around that often. And right now it is so early. And because it's so early, there's so much excitement, that there's so much opportunity, and there's so much potential to be the first. If you get into Web3 right now, even if you get in at the entry junior level, you come in, you're the mailman at a Web3 or a crypto or a blockchain company, over the next 10 years, you're talking about, you're one of the first. You're probably one of maybe a million people, maybe a million people that work in Web3. You're one of the first. In 10 years, in a decade from now, when we have over 1 billion people using Web3, consumers of Web3, you will be one of the smartest people in the room. So the opportunity is massive. The other reason why everyone's moving into Web3 is, let's be honest, it's time for a change. As technology grows and enters more areas of our life, we are seeing that there are some things we got wrong in the way we built Web 2. And that's okay. That's natural. That's going to happen. But this is our chance to right the ship. There's a genuine belief that we can put control and power back in the hands of the users, of us, the consumers, and take it out of the hands of really five big corporations who sell our data and we are the product. Let's not be the product anymore. Let's make us the owners, which Web3 and blockchain technology allows. And everyone wants to be a part of building that from the beginning. The other reason why everyone's moving into Web3, let's be honest, massive financial opportunity. Money is a big motivator. It's true. Anybody who says otherwise is kidding you, or they're already rich. So when bright minds are considering where to invest their time and their effort, they look for where the money is. The other day, I was speaking to a friend of mine who's a VC, and they said, quite frankly, everyone's talking about crypto and Web3. And it doesn't necessarily mean that every VC out there is investing in crypto and Web3, but they're all aware of it. They're all talking about it. It's in the boardroom, it's being discussed. So when that is happening, that is a massive signal. This is where the opportunity is. And that's why all the talent is going that way. Okay, but I'm sure you already know the why. If you're listening to our podcast, you've been listening to for a while, even if you've been in Web3 for a while, even if you haven't been in Web3 for a while, you're seeing it. You're seeing all the talk, you're seeing all the media. Maybe you're seeing a lot of the speculation and a lot of talk around the bear market and the crash, but you're probably aware, okay, this is something bigger than just media and just speculation. And the question on a lot of your mind is, okay, how do I join the party? I'm on the outside, who knows what you're doing currently for work, but you want to get in. You want a seat at the table. How do you get a seat at the table? All right, look, this is not rocket science, but it takes hard work. It takes effort. So that's the first thing I'm going to say here. If you want to change your life, to get a new career, you're going to have to put in the work. You have to put in the hours. You're not going to have to get a whole new degree. You don't have to go back to school. You don't have to be wealthy, but you got to put in the work. And the first thing you need to do is you need to learn the basics. You don't need to be an expert to get a job in Web3. And I want to say that very clearly. We have spoken to many founders of leading Web3 projects, blockchain protocols, gaming companies, crypto companies, and they all say they don't even necessarily want Web3 native people all the time. If anything, they actually like having people from outside of Web3 join in. But you need to know the basics, all right? You need to know the basics. You need a little bit of confidence, and you need to understand the lingo. That's the big thing, because you can't, be like you move down to Mexico and you try to get a job, but you can't speak Spanish. That's going to be pretty tough, right? And so I'm not saying you need to be fluent in Spanish, but you've got to at least know the basics. So spend some time and learn the basics of Web3. And the easiest way to do that is to take a free online course. We have a great online course available for those. It's called the Web3 Rabbit Hole course. We'll link to it in the show notes for you. It's a course that is quite simple. It's only 3 lessons. It'll take you about an hour and a half to 2 hours of your time. It'll give you everything you need, and you'll get an NFT at the end. And this is the other big thing you need to do is you need to show that you're involved in Web3. So don't just learn the basics in terms of, learning about the words. You got to get a wallet. You need to get your crypto wallet, and you need to do something with it. And again, you don't need a ton of money. One simple thing you can do with it, if you take our blockchain course, you will get an NFT at the end of that course. And now you have an NFT in your wallet. It's free, doesn't cost you anything, but now you've got an NFT, and you can show at any interview you take, you could say to them, hey, look, let me show you my on-chain resume. What do you think that's going to do to somebody, a manager or hiring manager? They're going to be like, wait a second, you got an on-chain resume? Say what? I don't know anybody who has an on-chain resume. That's not a thing yet. That's so new. Now, there are many businesses out there that are looking at becoming the leaders in on-chain resumes. Meta Intro is one. Highly recommend checking them out as well. But there is a lot of opportunity to just get started yourself. The other thing I recommend you do, grab some crypto, grab an NFT. Again, you don't need to be spending a lot of money on these things, but you just need to participate. You got to play. Even if you just bought $1 worth of Bitcoin or $1 worth of Ethereum, or pick any token, you're going to learn, okay, this is how I use my wallet. Okay, cool. Okay, I know how to buy some stuff. Then you're in the interview, you don't feel uncomfortable when they're like, do you own any crypto? And you're like, nah, I don't own any crypto. And they're like, well, you don't belong here. Sorry, chump. Okay, so you gotta play. NFTs too. I'm not saying you need to go buy a Bored Ape, right? That's crazy. I wouldn't even recommend it. Bored Apes are worth more money than I can understand why they're worth that much. But you should probably get any NFT. All right, pick any NFT. Again, don't expect it to go up in value. Don't buy it because it's going to be worth money someday. Buy it because you like the project, it's cool, and it costs you $5 to $10, right? Just to get in, just to get your feet wet, just so you can. And then when you buy your NFT, go to OpenSea and check it out and play around with it, right? Oh wow, there you're on OpenSea. Connect your wallet to OpenSea. See that you have your NFT in your wallet. Okay, there you go. Now you got some NFTs, you got some crypto, you're gaining some experiences. That is super important. Okay. Next step, you got to join communities. All right. Community is the biggest part of Web3 for good reason, because for the first time ever, we can have communities that can have voting power. We can have communities that can have ownership through smart contracts. We can have communities that aren't just buyers of a product. We have communities now that are very powerful in their support of brands. Some of the largest brands in the world have incredible communities. Adidas has an incredible community, but we still are a little bit on the outside. Web3 allows us to be more than just on the outside. And so the ways you can join the community, and again, I'm not telling you that you need to go buy anything to join these communities. Don't do that, okay? Find the free communities. There's lots of them, okay? Join those communities and join them in Telegram, Discord, Reddit, and Twitter. Those are the spaces you want to be. I'm not saying you need to be on all four of those platforms, but that's where the crypto and the Web3 world lives, okay? The Web3 world, they communicate one-on-one on Telegram. They communicate through communities on Discord, okay? They're quite active on Reddit and Twitter for more of the social media style communication. So that's where you want to be. And one thing that's really important is you want to develop a little bit of a personality in these places, or not necessarily a following, but a presence. You need a presence, okay? So if you're going to go into an interview, if you're entering Web3, for sure, you can expect that they're going to ask you for your Twitter handle, because Twitter is a big part of crypto and Web3. So what do you want to do? Well, you don't want to be like, oh, I don't have Twitter. You want to be like, yeah, I got Twitter, and here's my Twitter handle. And I don't care if you started it a week ago, at least throw some tweets up there and maybe use an NFT as your photo, okay? Now, shit, let's be real here. You don't even need to own that NFT if it's CC0. Pick a CC0 project, like a noun or something like that, and make that your profile pic. And then you'll really wow them when you say it. They'll say, oh, wow, you own a noun? You'll say, no, I don't own a noun. But noun's a CC0 project, and CC0 means it's creative rights royalty free, means anybody can use that. And I decided that I love that image and I wanted to use it as my profile pic. Boom, now you got a conversation, you're understanding Web3. That's amazing, okay? So you got to build that presence. You got to get involved in Discord communities, because that's where the communities are being built. And really, understanding digital community building is a huge part of Web3. If you understand how to build digital communities, then you are a massive asset in Web3. So you got to spend time in those communities. You've got to see, okay, when I join a community, here's the onboarding process. Here's the steps to get involved. Once I'm in the community, here's how I interact. Here's how I use different channels. Oh, here's the events that they have. Oh, there's a great idea. This community does this, whereas this community does this. Take some notes when you're doing all this, folks. When you join communities, let's do this. Let's say your challenge, you want to get Jumbo Web 3, you got to join 10 communities. When you join each of those communities, take some notes. What did you like and what did you not like about the way you onboarded in that community? Boom. Now you go to an interview, you can tell somebody, hey, yeah, I joined 10 communities. Let me tell you the things that I thought were great and things that I thought were not great. Competitor research. You got some great information. You're showing that you're not just there, you're thinking about it. All right. And the other thing is you got to network. Number three thing you need to be doing if you want to get a job in Web3 is networking. Networking is not difficult in Web3. It's actually the easiest space ever to network in. It's truly amazing. And I'll tell you why it's so easy, because it's so small still. Because Web3 is so small, you can be in Web3 and you can rub shoulders with anybody. You can reach out to truly anybody. Doesn't mean everybody's going to respond to you. You're going to get a lot of no's, you get some rejections, but that's the way the world works, right? If you want to go on a date, you want to get a new girlfriend or a new boyfriend, you got to be willing to get rejected a few times. You got to put yourself out there. Well, it's the same thing if you want a job, if you want to network. All right. And I'll say this, if anybody wants help, you want to network, reach out to me. I'm happy to chat to anybody who's trying to get a job in the space. Twitter handle is open. Drop me a DM. Would love to chat. Fourth thing you need to do if you want to get a job in Web3, you need a job support crew. Okay. This is so powerful, but so simple. Here's what you do. You find 4 to 8 people that are also trying to get a job in Web3. Okay. And you say to them, hey, I want to start a WhatsApp group with you. All right. It doesn't have to be on WhatsApp, it could be on Telegram. You pick your platform. You invite them in. It's just a little support crew. You're all trying to do the same thing. You're all trying to get a job in Web3. And now you have a little crew, a little place where you can talk, where you can say, hey, I saw this job was posted. You guys can share jobs. You guys can share articles. You can share, oh, does anybody have an interview coming up? Yeah, I've got an interview. Can anybody get on the phone and help me prep for that interview? Help each other. You support each other. You need that. You need that support, because when you get rejected, when that happens, which is going to happen, and that's okay, you're not going to get every single job. You're not going to get every single offer. Just like if you ask everybody on a date, not everyone's going to say yes, right? So that's okay. But when you get that, you got your support crew, all right? And that's important to remember, is if you do get a no, it doesn't mean that everybody's going to say no. Get back on the horse and get back out there, all right? The other thing you got to do is you got to look for ways to get involved IRL. All right. It's not just digitally is the only way. You got to get involved IRL. And with COVID ending and the world opening back up, there's so many ways to get involved IRL. There's so many conferences and hackathons and various events, meetups in every city. Just Google crypto meetup, blockchain meetups, Web3 meetup in your city. You'll find stuff and attend these things, introduce yourself to people, talk to people, and don't be afraid to just be honest. I'm new to the space. I'm trying to get a job, or I've got all this experience in Web 2. I've got a 20-year career. I've been doing all of these things. I'm this specialist, but I'm trying to make this transition. It's amazing how when people are trying to do something new, they're so much more willing to support and to be vulnerable. So get out there. Final thing you got to do is, this is going to sound obvious, you got to put in your application. You got to make that move. You got to make that first move. And in order to do that, you need to do a few things. You can search traditional job boards. You can also search Web3 job boards like Palette is a really good one that I highly recommend. We'll put a link in the show notes. And then you can also search other Web3 job boards, cryptocurrencyjobs.io, web3.career. There's so many of these job boards popping up, but you got to apply. But here's the thing, okay? Don't just apply. If you fill out an application to a job online, odds are you're in a bucket of hundreds of applicants unless you have the most incredible copywriting skills of all time, or your resume is like a website that is animated and designed and pops out and grabs attention, basically, unless you're a marketer in the way that you developed and designed your application, which like nobody, you should not be expected to do that. I don't expect you to do that. It's going to be hard for you to stand out. So what you need to do is you need to make sure that you do stand out when you put in an application. Here's how, very simply. When you apply for a job, you also go to Twitter or to LinkedIn or to Discord, wherever you can find somebody who works at that company. Ideally, you can find the hiring manager, but even if you can just find somebody who works at that company, you message them and you say, hey, reaching out, my name is so-and-so, looking to get into Web3, and I love what your company is doing. Would you be willing to give me 10 minutes of your time to tell me a little bit about yourself and how you got into this career and into this space? And I'll guarantee you, you'll get a lot of people that say, yeah, look, you do not ask them to give you a job. You do not ask them to give you an interview. Do not ask them those things. You just ask them for their time, and you ask them for 10 minutes of time, okay? And then you get on the call with them, you ask some questions, and when you're on the call, you say, hey, by the way, I actually found a job at your company, which I just applied to. Again, you don't ask them anything. You just tell them that, okay? You don't ask them to put in the good word for you. You don't ask them to give you the job. That's unreal expectations. You don't know this person yet. You're just meeting them. But you tell you what, if they like you, you will now move to the top of the pile, and that will make all the difference. All right. Who's going to find a job in Web3? What are the jobs in Web3? Let's talk about that. There's so many. I mean, gosh, it's wild. There's just an incredible number of jobs in Web3. It's like truly, there's so much opportunity. Finance, okay? If you're a finance pro, if you're an economist, an analyst, a former banker, an investment pro, there is so much opportunity to build the underlying financial structure of Web3, which is DeFi. So you could join a DAO like a Uniswap. You could join a DeFi platform. There is many opportunities in this space. Or if you're a finance pro, you could also join a non-finance product that is just looking for finance help. Or if you're an analyst, there's massive opportunity. One of the biggest jobs in the next decade is going to be blockchain analysts. If you could become an expert at analyzing Dune analytics and taking that information and turning it into useful reports that businesses and investors can use to understand what's working and what's not working. Oh my gosh, money will be flowing your way and jobs will be flowing your way. Engineers and product managers, this is obviously a big one. People are going to need a ton of help as they build these Web3 startups. So we need devs, we need engineers, and we need product managers. And we particularly need product managers because we all know this, the UX of Web3 is still very nascent and needs a lot of help. So if you're a product manager, if you're a UI expert or UX expert, you're going to be in high demand in Web3. Designers and marketers, there's a huge need for designers and marketers in Web3 because everybody's trying to learn Web3. You know how hard it is to market Web3 right now? You're trying to explain, if you want to market Web3, I have to teach you about blockchain first and then teach you about why you need my product. It's a two-phase step, and that's very difficult. So there's a huge need for marketers. And the thing is, right now, all marketers at most Web3 companies need to do is just educate on Web3. Just get out there. And you can do that yourself on your new Twitter handle that you set up that you're going to start talking about Web3. Boom, you're a marketer. There you go. The other big thing is salespeople, business developers. there is such a need for growth of Web3. And there is not really sales teams yet. Most of Web3 is growing organically, it's growing through word of mouth, but we need the organizational structure where these Web3 companies, these crypto companies, these blockchain protocols, they all need to scale. And the way that you do that is with a sales team. And so we need people who understand the processes and systems of Web3. And maybe you also understand a CRM, and maybe you also understand blockchain. And so, boom, now you're like, okay, let's put a CRM on the blockchain, and you can help your company understand the moves it can make to start to combine Web2 tech like CRM tech with blockchain tech. I mean, just huge opportunity. There's also a massive need, and this is one of the biggest ones that we talk about, is this massive need for community managers in Web3. Huge, huge need for community managers because community is the biggest unlock of Web3. It's where there will be so much opportunity. I believe in the next decade that one of the largest careers that absolutely explodes is going to be community management. And I'm not talking about, when you say community management in the Web2 world, people think about social media management. That's different. That's audience management. That is very different. Community management is building a community of like-minded people who want to invest their time in you. And so you have to create ways for them to invest their time in you and ways for you to help them and them to help you. It's this incredible reciprocity arrangement, this agreement, just like any community is, just like family is, just like friends are. And so if you want to be a community builder, there's huge opportunities in community management in Web3. Of course, there's opportunities really for all areas of specialization. And if you have low experience, let's say you don't have any experience in any of these things that I've mentioned, that doesn't mean you can get into Web3. One of the best ways you can get into Web3 is by joining some DAOs. Because what you can do is you could go to a platform like Wonderverse where they post bounties from DAOs. A bounty is a task that a DAO posts. And essentially, that is a way for you to do very simple tasks, no skill, low experience tasks that anybody can do. And you can start to develop experience and build your Web3 resume. And you could show, again, you could show this because it would be your on-chain resume. You could show that you completed a bounty and that you got tokens for completing that bounty. And boom, again, build your on-chain resume. It'd be awesome. It's such a great way to do it. Really what we're talking about here is there's this opportunity to join a motley crew in Web3 right now. You have an opportunity to rub shoulders with some of the brightest minds, former Amazon, Google engineers, Microsoft managers, entrepreneurs, Wall Street analysts, big tech CEOs. Crypto is as an industry it's unconventional, it's brash, and it's unapologetic, and it's different than the Web2 predecessors. We are creating something very different here. Here's a great quote from Nate Eilison. He says, "This is a radically different world than the headshots, LinkedIn, and resume world of Web2. If you're not comfortable being interviewed by someone presenting as an anime character and never having a voice call, you might be a little uncomfortable." I love it. And this is exactly what Web3 is like. And the opportunities of Web3 are going to offer millions of workers a solution to making a better, more passionate living. So if you're ready, jump in. Now is the time. I just want to talk a bit about the benefits of Web3. Web3 is a huge wealth building opportunity, as I talked about before. But just like the early days of the internet, there are those who are confused by the tech and dismiss the entirety of blockchain, crypto, and NFTs, permissionless apps, decentralized systems. But if you can look past that noise and see the bigger picture here that I see and that so many people see, you'll find yourself at the top echelon of tech, helping call the shots of the future. Here are some pros of working at a Web3 company. Remote work and flexible schedules are the norm. Higher levels of compensation are also I shouldn't say they're the norm. There's opportunities to have higher levels of compensation. A lot of Web3 companies are startups. So actually what they will give you is a lower level of compensation, but they will give you ownership or they will give you equity in order to potentially make more in the future. Be aware of that risk though. Do not assume that if you get equity that has value. It does not have value unless there's a liquidity event, unless your company sells or they go public or they get investment. So be careful in understanding the terms of your compensation. If you need the money now because of your lifestyle, because of your rent, because of your family, because of your dependents, then make sure that you take a job where you get that money. There's also more passion in Web3 than I've seen in any industry before. It's a tight-knit community. There is incredible fun being had all the time. And then there's all these global events, whether they be in the metaverse, whether they be IRL. So now is the time, people. Now is the time to make the move. If you need help making this move, hit us up. We want to help you get there. Hit me up, Jaybird, on Twitter, Jaybird_NFT. Happy to help you get there. You can do it. You can get a job in Web3. Whether you have experience or not, you can do it. I believe in you. Good luck on your journey into your next career. Anything is possible. You can be great. Love you guys. Have a great week. Jaybird out.
Thank you for listening to Web3 Academy. We hope this helps you along your Web3 journey. And if it does, please share this episode and subscribe so you don't miss the next one. Nothing in this podcast was financial advice. Crypto and Web3 can be risky. You can literally lose it all. In fact, if you invest on account of what we say, you probably will lose it all. So don't do that. In all honesty, the point of this podcast is to remove the noise of markets and price and focus on utility and implementation anyway. So you should not take any of this as financial advice. Thank you, friends, and see you in the next one.